Good afternoon and welcome to today's edition of NMH at 1, where we bring you news and updates of around the nation. My name is Frank Steffen. I'm the editor of the Allgemeine Zeitung. So with not much ado, we go to our first story. Obviously all of us are quite cold, as you can see. I'm warmly dressed here today. And the Meteorological Service of Namibia has warned that these cold conditions will prevail in the south, the Khomas and the Omaheke regions, starting as from today. Well, not really starting, continuing as from today. Frost is expected in the south and central regions, while east wind conditions will return to the coastal regions over the weekend. Our colleague, Jemima Beekers, this morning spoke to a homeless man who lives in the riverbed in Eros. His name is Johannes Gauhasep. Well, so much for my German. He shared a bit of his experience about this cold.
Wat is uw naam?
Afrikaans naam is Johannes Gauhasep.
En u bly hier?
Ja.
Hoe bly u hier?
Ek snap nie.
En die koue?
Koue is ook daar. Koue is daar. Die reentyd is ek ook gereend, die water het nie maar hier kom geloop. Rivier toe. Ja. Jules het ook geskryf dat die blanke vrou het die papiere gevat. Hy kom nie hier nie. En so ek waag die blanke vrou laat sy die papiere bring, laat ek die geld gevat en plase toe gaan. Mense lui moet mense sommer jy moet betaal, maar ek het nie geld.
Hey!
Vogel was ook so koud kom en ek daar best op toe gehardloop, daar by die sonloop gestaan. Ek het net ek heb die huisje gehad, die mense kom vat. Gister ook, maar je hoed is ook gevat. Hij is weg als ik net loop, als ik kan straggelen. Ik kan staan moet daar bij die kar, is ook die rond. Dan geef die lange mensen van het die iets. En ik koop kost op, en ik geef me geld dat ik koop ik nog niet in. Die komt vat niet. Excuse? Nee, dat was het hier niet.
Nou, hoe hanteer u die koue?
Maar en ik kom daar, tot die zon uitkomt, dan ga ik best op, dan zit ik daar bij die zon.
Well, there he shared his experiences, and from the COVID-19 Communication Center this morning, the chief pharmacist of the Ministry of Health and Social Services, Seya Nakamela, revealed that there is a shortage of medicine during this time in the country. Here's what she had to say.
Remember last year, actually for a facility like Central Medical Stores, you need contracts in place for you to have constant supply of medicines. And that was done last year for a number of medicines for the medical department. So we got our contracts in place and then we placed orders. But then remember COVID came in December actually from the east because of the raw material and most of the stock comes from the east. That's where you have the manufacturing industry, Asia, India. So because COVID started there, so all the orders which were there, you know, they couldn't come in because they had the restriction and not only restriction because Remember when COVID came, then you have to exercise social distancing. So that basically means even your production has gone down. Even if your production has already scaled down. So everything slows down actually from December going into now where in March there where the whole world actually almost shut, you know. That were now including the logistics. But then you will realize that in March and in April, the stock was already loaded. But remember that from May towards the end of May, then the logistics, like most countries, starts opening up, and the logistics opened up again. Then and there was also restrictions in South Africa. So that already have affected everything. But as we speak now, there's a lot of improvement, even at the medical depot. Because in March and in April, there hasn't really been a stock coming in, maybe once a day or twice. But now you can really tell that our receiving day, we call it a receiving day, but that's actually the place where we receive stock is really picking up, is getting busy. So we are very hopeful that things will improve, not drastically, but we are in June, July, then we are expecting a lot, but there are still challenges. Remember, the prices are still fluctuating, but we appreciate the fact that the exchange rate is going down a bit. Remember, it was at 18, I think, last month in May. But now it's, I didn't check it today, but it has been fluctuating at 16. So that will help us a lot because the price increase and the fluctuations, I mean, because that basically means even if you quote CMS at this price, when you are going to buy your product that side, you are going to buy it at a high price. So that also affected that. But the fact that things are likely to improve generally, it will mean that the stock will be coming in. I can't really pinpoint, but I really do not want to pinpoint. But let's rather give people hope that the stock is arriving. Remember, even the contraceptive people were crying about it's coming in now. So we really want to improve. We in constant with our suppliers, ready to bring in stock. We really like we really want to be aggressive about stock availability.
Ain't nothing but a party going on in here.
Welcome back. Yeah, and that actually brings us to the point where we would like to give you a preview, or not actually a preview, just highlight our pages again for you. On the Republican front page today, they report that while business such as shebeens and bars are allowed by the Liquor Act to sell alcohol on their premises, their customers may not consume their drinks on the premises of these businesses during the stage 3 of the state of emergency regulations. This is according to the latest prescriptions tabled recently by the Ministry of Trade on Wednesday, a week ago. However, hotels and restaurants may sell alcohol and have their customers enjoy it on the premises. That's what the paper says. Then Namibian Sun front page. The Namibian Sun reports that there are serious efforts by the ruling party SWAPO to convince Walfish Bay Urban Councillor Knowledge Ipinge, who is leading the constituency as an independent councillor, to return to the party. Ipinge, an activist of the affirmative repositioning movement, has allegedly been promised that the party will make him its official candidate in the regional and local elections slated for November this year. On the Allgemeine Zeitung, there's a report about government institutions consuming huge amounts of taxpayers' money. The paper cites Air Namibia, which is to get nearly 1 billion Namibia dollar, which is about 70% of the entire budget allocated to the Ministry for Public Enterprises. Other public enterprises resorting under the ministry are to share the remaining 425 million allocated to that portfolio. Then we go to the New Era. New Era quotes Defense Minister Peter Vilu warning that the escalating conflict in Mozambique's Cabo Delgado province, in which Islamic State-aligned insurgents are causing havoc, is a serious concern for regional security. Attacks have intensified as insurgents captured towns in the southern African country. They have also destroyed government infrastructure and declared their goal to establish a caliphate, a political religious state under Islamic leadership. Then the Namibian front page reports that more members of SWAPO, including those in the party's youth league, are emerging as having benefited from the Fishrot saga. The paper reports that Deputy Minister of Works, Vaiko Nikundi, SWAPO Youth League Secretary Ephraim Nikongu, and Joseph Gabriel, a member of the party's musical band Ndilimani, have all received cash from the trust account of de Klerk Horn and Kutsie Incorporated, a law firm at the center of the saga. Well, and then if we move to the inside pages, the Namibian Sun's inside page reports that regional councils are set to receive the same budgets as last year, which has left Kavango West bitterly unhappy, given that it will continue to receive the least amount of money of all such entities countrywide and thus undermine its ability to accomplish its development goal. The AZ on the inside has a report that the level of production of the fishing industry was reduced to 66% of capacity, which will not be commercially viable in the long run. So far, no people have lost their jobs, and these measures had to be introduced on account of the COVID-19 pandemic. If we then look at the New Era inside page, on its page 3, it reports that the teacher suspended from Hillside Christian College, Corinne Steenkamp, is being dragged to court after she was charged under the provisions of the Racial Discrimination Prohibition Amendment Act. Steenkamp is being investigated by the Namibian police for a racial rant against black Namibians on social media early this week, when she posted belittling and demeaning remarks against blacks in general. Irongo Regional Police Crime Investigations Coordinator, Deputy Commissioner Erastus Ikuyu, yesterday said the state opened a case against Steenkamp. She's a resident of Warfish Bay. And then inside Republican, they cite Information Minister Pia Mushilenga as having said this week in Parliament that he will on Tuesday next week table the long-awaited Access to Information Act. He also announced that the COVID-19 Communications Centre will become a permanent feature where government will provide information to its citizens. Yeah, and that already brings us to the end of today's newscast. Please stay tuned for our weather snapshot and have a safe weekend.